us with a lot more now. Emmanuel, how was the issue with the MP resolved?
All right, so Mama V, this was what happened. The MP had come to the premises of the Bosomche, that is the Kuntinase MAJHS center, to cast his ballots. And he came here with the DCE for the area. And the DCE actually found his name at one of the centers. We have two centers over here, Center A and Center B. And so the DCE actually was able to get his name in one of the register, but with the Education Minister, he was unable to get, he checked the first center, his name wasn't there, and then the AC officials asked him to go to the other center to find his name, but still the name wasn't there. So he tried to approach the ECE to rectify the issue, and then they had some calls. I saw him having some calls and placed to the national headquarters, and the national headquarters, my sources indicate that he was allowed to cast his ballot after a communique was issued from the national headquarters of the NPP to the EC office at the Greater Accra region and then to the Ashanti region, and then he was allowed to vote and cast his ballot. However, the Council of Elders, some two persons I've met, they tell me that they have not been allowed to cast their votes. I tried engaging them, but they did not want to speak on record. But they tell me they were also trying to place calls to ensure that they also were able to cast their ballots. But so far, the two persons, as I indicated, have not been able to cast their ballot. But Dr. Osei Duchu has been allowed to cast his ballot. So far, that's what has been happening here at the Bosomche constituency for the NPP's delegates.
Well, away from that, Emmanuel, just tell us generally how the exercise has gone so far.
All right, so Mama, I can tell you that the exercise has been peaceful over here. And even before coming on TV, I saw some people jubilating. Well, I don't know the camp they are coming from, but they were jubilating and singing songs, some local songs and exciting moments over here. But I can tell you that so far, they've served a majority of the delegates over here. At the center, we are having some 1,006 delegates who will be casting their ballots or who are already cast their ballots. And a majority of these numbers have been able to cast their ballots. But so far, I can only see just a few numbers. In the morning, there was a huge line over here, and the EC officials have been able to serve all of them. When I earlier engaged with the DCE for the area, he told me actually that he was hoping the exercise would be expedited. And I think that has been done. Everybody has been able to cast their ballots. And then in just some hour, as you indicate, 2 hours, as you indicated, the voting should be closed. So just a few people are just on. I think only one person is there casting a ballot. I can show you what is happening over there. Only a few people have been casting their ballot so far. So Mama B, generally, this is what has been happening here at so as you can see in your screen, it's just some EC officials there, and then we have some security men around ensuring that everything is peaceful. So these are some of the EC officials in the inner perimeter, and we have some of the EC officials also over there ensuring that everybody here is served, and then they will cast their ballots. So Mama, this is what is actually happening here at the Bosomche constituency.
So, Emmanuel, it means that apart from the missing names, there hasn't really been any issue.
Well, not any really that I have heard of, but out of the record, I heard some of them say they have been paid some monies from some of the members or the aspirants for the flag bearership. I heard some of them saying that they have been paid some amount of money from some of the camps, but that's generally the issue here at the Bosomche constituency.
All right, we'll leave it here. Emmanuel Bright Kweko, we will return to you when voting comes to an end. But let's cross over now to the Okaikwe Central, where my colleague Papani Ashali is joining us. Papani actually stumbled upon the coordinator for Ken Ejapong, Kenneth Ansah, who was sharing yogurt for all delegates. Papani, tell us more. You've been speaking to Kenneth Ansah. What was his reason for sharing yogurt? if you can hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
Right, so tell us more. You've been engaging Kenneth Ansah, the coordinator for Kenneth Japan's campaign, who you actually caught sharing some yogurt to delegates. What was his reason?
Great, Mama V. So, welcome to Okaikwe Central Constituency. Specifically, this is the school, Haron International School, where the constituency is holding their elections here. The gentleman you're asking of is somewhere in the queue there, waiting his turn to exercise his franchise. But some of the people have been benefiting from your yogurt. You see some of the rappers left down there, but the queue is moving forward. Let me talk to some of the people that are here, how they have benefited from that. Prior to that, everybody was just sitting, just water that was coming from the constituency office itself. But many people have been beneficiaries of some refreshments. There's a lady that still holds her, so let me ask her how she managed to get that. Good afternoon. What's your name?
I'm Priscilla.
Priscilla, I see that you have yogurt here. Where did you get that from?
I got, a man was sharing it and I took it from him.
But why did you take it? Did you want refreshment?
Yeah, it's energizing, so I wanted to take it something so that I'll get energy.
I see. So it's energizing you for what, really?
I've been here for a while, so taking it in will give me the energy I need to cast my votes.
Great. So you are here. Did you have who you are going to vote for in mind?
Yes, absolutely.
Have you been energized to vote for that person?
I've been I know who I'm going to vote for. It's not the energy I'm taking from the person which is going to influence me to vote for a particular person. So I've been energized to vote.
Great. Thank you very much. I wish you all the best here. Not far from here, some people are exercising their franchise, and the gentleman that told me on record that he's the one sponsoring this for a particular candidate is right here, the gentleman in green. Let me see if I can get a few words from him. Mr. Ansah, can you join me small, just for a minute? If you can come here, please come, I beg you. So, Mr. Ansah, thank you very much for doing this with me. I just spoke to somebody. She's happy about what you decided to sponsor earlier, the yogurt here. I mean, do you know how many packs you gave out eventually?
Oh, actually, it was 5 packs. 5 packs, yeah.
So we are talking about almost 100 people benefiting?
Sure, more than 100. More than 100. Because the first one was about 57, and the second one too was 50. Yes, 53. So more than 100 pieces.
If we do the math, that one costs about 3. How much?
3.
How much is one?
3
cities. They are buying more than 100. We're talking about more than 300 Ghana cedis just for something for their lips.
The first one was even 560 cedis old, and the second one too, I spent almost 500 cedis, so close to 1,000.
Wow, and this is different from their supposed TNT.
Sure. We've already given them, breakfast and lunch already, but this one, it just touched my heart that I should give them something to cool down their hearts.
Earlier, I heard you say that this is supposed to be a showdown refreshment.
I swear, it's going to be a showdown this afternoon.
Okay, great. But I also know that you also represent Kennedy, right? Well, what are your prospects in the constituency? Do you think that you are taking it?
What are?
In the constituency, do you think that your candidate is taking it?
We are, winning hands down in this constituency. By the work that we've done here, we know for sure we are going to win. Yeah, we feel it. We are going to win.
Thank you very much. So that's Kenneth Ansah. He's one of the many people here who represents the number one person on the ballot paper here. So quite a number of people he's already confirmed that you have benefited from the refreshments. Also here, there have been lots of hushed conversations on TNT and in court, where many people say, well, they have been reimbursed for traveling from their homes to this venue to exercise their franchise, that they have been sort of compensated for traveling to come all the way here. So you see, many people in their number, you're expecting more than 700 people to be here to exercise the franchise. There are 3 levels to the categorization of people here. There's an outer perimeter where you come, the police scans you, make sure there's nothing on you. Then you manage to go through the queue and then come to this place where you see right now you're short, the middle perimeter. That is heavily guarded, also very much well arranged. People are in order here with security men standing here 24/7 trying to guide the people as to how to go. And then there's a final section here where before you enter into the middle perimeter, and the middle perimeter is what you see right now, where you eventually get your name checked and then you can go ahead and vote. But the shot right now you have is where the security men make sure that you leave behind your phones especially, and then sometimes your bag when you have one. So you have to leave it here, a number is given to you, and then you go. I'm sure this is really guided. I'm told that because of previous events where people have been forced to take photos of their ballot paper as proof of who they voted for. This is to make sure that that does not continue. So right behind this perimeter.
And that's Papania Shali reporting live there from the Afriyie Central. Well, let's quickly take you through the numbers in terms of the numbers that are voting today in all the 275 constituencies. Of course, the Sunyani East, where voting is not happening, we'll interrogate that matter in a bit because of some legal issues we understand there. But a total number of 204,144. That's the total number of delegates voting in today's exercise. You see the Greater Accra region with the greatest number of almost 40,000. That's 39,134, followed by the Ashanti region with 35,690. We have the Eastern region following closely there with some 21,233, followed by the Central region with 18,127. The Western region with 13,717. The Volta region following there with 11,995 delegates. The Northern region, 11,805. And the Upper East region with 8,118. Also the Bono East region, 7,570 delegates taking part in today's exercise. Bono region, 6,663. Upper West, 6,640. Western North, 6,122. Northeast, 5,210. The OT region with 5,210 also. And Ahafo, 4,202. Savannah, 3,963. And the headquarters of the NPP, some 463 delegates, including the president who participated in the exercise today. Let's quickly now go to Dom Kwabinya, where my colleague Maxwell Agbagba is standing by now. Maxwell, what can you report? I understand that you have Mike Okoye Jr. also with you for a conversation. What's been happening?
Yeah. Yes, Mama V. So we're here in the biggest constituency in the Greater Accra region. Here in the Dome Kwabinya constituency, 1,803 delegates are expected to cast their ballot. That is according to the district electoral officer. This makes this particular constituency the biggest in terms of this election. As at 12 o'clock p.m., we've had a little over 700 people casting their ballot. So out of the 1,803 expected to vote, a little over 700 had cast their ballot as around 12 o'clock p.m. We'll be interacting with the district electoral officer shortly. But as you rightly mentioned, I have with me here Ambassador Mike Okoye Jr., former High Commission to Ghana's High Commissioner to India, and then currently the Chief Executive Officer of the Free Zones Authority. Let's speak to him and find out from him what the process has been like for him so far. You're welcome to join us.
Thank you very much, and a good day to all your listeners and viewers as well.
Great. Well, what has the process been like for you? You've been around for some time. What has it been for you?
Well, I mean, for me, it's been a joyous relaxation period, going around, fraternizing with the various delegates, chatting. We're getting to know each other even more. So there's no rush. I've actually lost my voice from all the kukrudu that we've been doing all this week, campaigning for various candidates. And so I must say, you can see the peaceful atmosphere. Everybody is just going to show who they want to be their flag bearer. And so there isn't any issue at all. All the noise and all the things that were happening before shows you that it is not the case in the party. So everything is well.
Everything is well. But I want to find out from you, at the end of the day, the NPP definitely wants someone who can lead the party into victory in 2024. And I'm sure that's what you're also, looking forward to. Who do you think has those qualities? What qualities are you personally looking out for? The winner, the potential, winner at the end of this voting.
Well, I think the candidate who I would say or choose is from my thumb.
Okay.
And honestly, until 2 o'clock, I'm not allowed to say publicly, especially on a day like this where there's no campaigning, who I'm going to vote for.
Yeah, exactly. So we're just asking the qualities you're looking for.
Know, but if I say the qualities, you will know the person.
Oh, really?
Yes, you will know the person. So I'll give you that analysis.
A better manager of the economy?
Today at 4 p.m. We don't have anybody who's a better manager of the economy. We don't.
We don't have any.
None of the other three has been in that situation even to talk about it. Right?
But there's one of them who's the chairman of the economic management.
Yes, but you and I know, and this is something very important. When you have a bus, a bus driver and a mate, who is in control?
Okay.
That's it. So we should not make the mistake of saying that because he was head of a certain committee, he's in charge of all the finance in this country. He's not. But those arguments are going to come later.
So this is the Vice President, Dr. Bawumia, we are talking about.
I want to make clear, especially to my brothers in NDC, is that they told us that we would not vote for Bawumia. So NPP will decide whether they'll vote for Bawumia, they'll vote for Ken, whoever. But most importantly, as for John Mahama, he has been president before. He has been the bus driver before. He told us in 2012 that he's the mate. He wants to become the bus driver. But Bawumia is not a mate. So let's not talk about economy. What we want to tell NDC is that as for John Mahama, he has been president before. And we saw how incompetent. But the four, none of them has been president before. One came as far as being mate. So all four can change the economy and can do other things. Just like our president said, the way things are at the moment, the way Corona has hit, which has never happened before, the way Ukraine war has never happened before, all the various things that are happening in this world, the recessions in Europe, what we are looking at is a situation of who can get us out of this world mess. We'll talk about that at that time.
I mean, it's still based on the mate driver analogy that you're using, but one would say...
No, I just use that in terms of economy, but I don't want you to focus the interview on one person.
Okay.
Today, the interview is about all four. And me as a delegate, I voted for one. All these people here, they are delegates. Some are going to vote and some have voted. So today and this hour is not the time to talk about one candidate. But trust me, at 4 o'clock, all of NPP, we want to show a certain plus 70%. Then we'll speak as one voice. And that is why it has been made that you cannot contest and go and resign and go and be independent. We are going to come together as one party to fight the general election.
But finally, before you go, we know in the primaries you've been eyeing the Domi Kwabena seat for some time now. We know in the primaries where Adjwasafo defeated you, one of the candidates, Kennedy Japan, actively campaigned for Adjwasafo when she defeated you. What do you say that based on what happened in the past? What do you say that based on what happened in times past? Then obviously means your allegiance wouldn't be for him.
Oh, I wouldn't say that. But if you are saying obviously, you have made up your mind. So I will not answer that. But all I'll just tell you is that he has seen me personally. He met me at Controllers General. He apologized.
He apologized.
Yes, he apologized.
And for campaigning against?
No, for the things he said.
Okay.
Because he said, among other things, that my father had asked him to campaign for me, which wasn't true. I want to set that record straight. So he apologized to me. I called my father also on the phone. He apologized to him and gave us reasons why he said that. So that is under the water. We have moved forward.
Okay. So at the end of the day, you want someone who can lead the party into victory.
My brother is very important because you see, when we were in school, right, we are all in the same class, right? But we know those whose behavior, whose neatness, who's following the rules are the class prefect or the school prefect. We are voting for a school prefect for NPP. So all the 4 candidates, we are voting to see who will be the best person to lead us into 2024 election.
Okay. We're still talking about elections, so it wouldn't be far-fetched for me to ask you what you also in 2024 your parliamentary aspirations.
As for that, it's obvious that I will step in the ring when the time comes.
But you step in the ring?
Of course.
What makes you so confident? Is it because of the long absence of...
Stepping in the ring is not confidence. Yeah. Saying you will win is confidence.
But no, stepping in the ring means you're going to...
No, stepping in the ring means I'm going to take part. No. Do you understand?
But it means you're ready to fight.
No. The fact that you're ready to fight doesn't mean you're confident. Okay. Because somebody might be ready to fight, but he's just blowing cold air. Yeah. Do you understand?
Yeah.
So that is it.
Do you think the long absence of the incumbent MP Adwoa from Parliament brightens your chances of winning the primaries?
I'm sure you have noticed that all the goings in Domi Kwabena, I've not made one comment. I did not make one comment yesterday. I will not make one comment today. I avoid it because just as the General Secretary said, Domi Kwabena is at the crossroads and he will leave it to the delegates to decide our future. Once that future is decided, we all move in that direction. I've lost elections before. I've contested in 2011. I've contested in 2020. The elephant is the winning symbol. So anybody who wins or loses an election, you must still follow the elephant because you registered under the elephant and you are going to work with the elephant. So we are not worried. At the right time, the delegates will decide.
Okay. Honorable, we've ended the conversation, but just a bit of clarification. What you mentioned earlier that Kennedy Japan called you and your father to apologize. I just want some clarity on that.
Oh, it's as simple as that.
What exactly was the issue about?
Oh, but I told you specifically what he had said, my father had said, which was not true.
He said your father asked him to campaign against you?
Against Adwoa.
Okay.
For me. And that he will not do that because it's his baby mother. And that went into a lot of people's heads to think, why would the Speaker of Parliament call an MP to campaign against his own wife? But that wasn't true.
Yeah.
So we are setting the record straight. I said it before the election.
Yeah.
And I was just telling you that now he has apologized to me.
That's
he
recently?
Apologized to my father. Oh, no. This is about a year or a year and a half ago.
Okay.
So there's no problem.
Okay.
I'm somebody who has stayed in Kennedy's house 3 times.
Okay.
I'm very close with his family. So we are all NPP.
Okay.
Let us go and vote. And then 70% plus NPP will show that the leader that we have chosen is the one we want, and the one to take us forward, and the one to defeat NDC in 2024. That is our purpose today.
Thanks so much for talking to us. So you just heard that from Ambassador Mike Okoye Jr.
And that's Mike Okoye Jr. speaking there to Maxwell Agbagba, one of the hottest constituencies, obviously, with some sort of controversies usually coming out of Dom Kwabena. Maxwell Agbagba there on the ground for us. In studio right now, I've been joined by a former chairman of the New Patriotic Party, a former campaign manager, Peter McMeno, is my guest between now and 2 p.m. A very good afternoon to you, sir. Thank you very much for your time here on your election headquarters.
Good afternoon, madam, and let me take this opportunity to congratulate you.
Thank you.
Called to the bar.
Thank you. Thank you. But you voted at the...
Quite impressive.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. You voted at the party's headquarters today. How would you describe the exercise that you just went through?
Oh, it was a peaceful exercise. There were a few number of people ahead of me in the queue. It got to my turn, they checked my identity, and having satisfied themselves, the EC officials then walked me to where I should take my ballot paper, and then went into the box, which is secret. So I cast my vote in a secret manner, and then came out and put it in the ballot box.
I see how
you
protect the secret, because you're one of the few persons who still haven't disclosed who you're rooting for.
No, you know, international best practices is that voting must be made secret. And this has gone on since, I think, 1870 something, when the British enacted the Secret Voting Act. And it has guided democratic practices globally up till now.
But there are many people who don't stick to that.
Oh,
even from your own party, there are lots of people today who have voted,
and there are sanctions. There are sanctions for that.
Even after today's exercise, you mean all the people who said to us on the record that they voted for either the vice president
is in the code
will be sanctioned?
If you are found, the vote will either be annulled, like it happened in the superdelegates. You realize in I think Kumasi, the Ashanti Regional Youth Organizer made an attempt to showcase his ballot, and that ballot was nullified.
Give us a bit of clarification. Are you saying that if a person voted and explained to media persons that I voted for candidate A or B, they will be sanctioned?
That is post voting. It's different from voting intent.
Oh, so you sure can tell us who you voted for then?
Oh, I'm not ready for that. I voted for the New Patriotic Party, because whoever wins the election, the New Patriotic Party and its symbol will follow that person.
We will be going through some of the issues that have come up with today's exercise. No elections in Sunyang East. And then there are elections going on in, interestingly, Central Kofi, Akpafu, Likpe, and Lolobi. We popularly refer to that area as SAL. They have no legislative representative, by the way. The process is still ongoing in Parliament, but they are voting in today's exercise. Let me just remind you that the election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Fearsome 3, HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox, power to the people. Also, the new force, a new nation. Now, every drop matters, yes, just as every penny counts. Did you know good quality fuel enhances your vehicle performance and reduces maintenance cost? Well, take no risk. In times like this, all you need is value for your money. So look no further, drive to the next Petrosol fuel station, your go-to station for accurate quantity of high quality fuel, and that's Petrosol. So be a happy customer, fill with smiles, drive more miles, and save some money. Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Now, HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox together helps your general well-being to improve your natural health. Enjoy quality products from Ebenage Herbal after 6 years of research at the KNUST. You can use mixtures or capsules for convenience and good health. Enjoy natural benefits of general well-being when you drink coconut water right after using HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox mixtures or capsules, and give thanks to nature. Fearsome 3, that's HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox, can be delivered abroad, and they're available nationwide in pharmacies, OTC, and herbal shops. Fearsome 3, that's HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox, power to the people. Please call 0542 778572 or 0542 807 907. You can also call 059 1367 898. And this broadcast is also brought to you by the New Force, a new nation. We're live on Joy 99.7 FM, myjoyonline.com, and the Joy News channel on television. My name is Mama Viosu Abuaji. Our guest, even as we go around, linking up with our reporters on the ground to bring you what's happening on the ground in studio, is Peter McMeno. He's a former national chairman of the NPP, also former campaign manager of the NPP. All right, let's go straight into some of the issues that have come up, but let's start with Sunyani East. Why are they not voting today? And the delegates there?
Yeah, I mean, Sunyani is a huge constituency, and it's been a safe seat for the New Patriotic Party over the years. But we had problems with the internal constituency executive elections in 2021, where some polling station executives appealed that the conduct of the elections were irregular. So a committee was set up to look into the details. They went through it, and when they gave their recommendations, which was adopted and approved by a National Executive Committee, they still refused to abide by that directives and went to court. So the matter, as we speak now, is in court. And for that reason, until the legal issues, and maybe let me add, and the political issues are resolved, they could not take part.
We'll continue with that. Just to say that former Chief of Staff Kojo Mpiani has just arrived, is casting his ballot. He's speaking to the media. We'll catch up on that.
So, I know there's problem in the party. The leaders should try to bring everybody together. It's the work of the leaders of the party to make sure that they bring the party together. I believe that there is a problem within our party. That's my belief. After talking to people, after watching what's going on, my hope, my prayer is that the leadership will open their eyes, their ears, listen, see, and try to bring people
Which means
together.
that after the exercise, unity should be topmost. Where should the party start from in terms of talking to some people who've left, or where should we start from?
It should start from within even the leadership first.
Okay.
You know, we should, as I was saying, we should be open, talk to ourselves, accept what is wrong with us, and then try to correct from within. Those who have left, if you can bring them in, fine. But I think protect what you have now, because it may not be easy to bring them in. If you don't take care to protect what you have, you may lose more people. So protect what we have now. Talk among ourselves. Let's try to be ostriches. As some people believe that there's nothing wrong with the party. I think there's something very seriously wrong with the party. And the party should look inside to see what it can do to change the situation.
Right. Grateful for your time. And that's the former Chief of Staff speaking to us there. But let's quickly get a word from Dr. Sri Bokweko, who's Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission. Doc, it's such a pleasure to be talking to you at this time. Your impression and assessment of the exercise so far.
Thank you very much, and God bless you. We only have some challenges with respect to the album, which I came to sort out with them. And with the exception of that, I think everything's okay.
We know that we're just a few hours from the exercise. What do you have to say about general security arrangements and also the process so far?
So I think I would say that with the exception of the complaints about some people not finding their names on the register, everything is okay.
And in terms of the procedure from now, in terms of declaring the outcome, what are we expecting after the coalition? How are you going about the validation?
The various polling stations will do the counting after 2 o'clock. They will announce the results for the polling stations. They will send the results to the regional offices for the region to do regional collation. Then when the regional collations are done, that is 16 regions, they will send the results to headquarters for us to do the collation with the 16 results that will come from the regions.
Your expectation, we still know that 2 hours is a long time for a political process. Are you hopeful that this will be peaceful and transparent?
I hope so. And so far, I don't think I have any reason to doubt that it will not be peaceful.
Have you spoken to, all the candidates going into the elections? Because some of them might want to do coalition and possibly start to announce their outcomes even before the EC does that. Have you spoken to them that, you're in charge of the exercise?
The party, under the platform of the election committee, we have had a lot of engagement with the candidates and their reps.
And agreement?
Yes, so, but a lot of engagement, that's why they came by the guidelines, and the guidelines are the one that we are using. So it was supposed to be done by the party, but they wanted to get our input. They invited us with the candidates, and we all agreed on the guidelines. So I don't think, if anybody declares any result or announces any result, it's not binding. The commission result that binds.
And very finally, what was the EC, learning from this democratic exercise? Because this is a dress rehearsal to the main, exercise that will take place next year in terms of the general elections. Are you readying yourself enough?
I don't think we have been overstretched. Everything that is every year is within our ability to handle them. So far, we don't have any challenges that are beyond us. So issue of going forward, every election has its own dynamics. And this, like I said, this one they are conducting and we are supervising. So it's like when you ask me about the register, I will only refer you to your party because they compile the register. If you talk about the ballot paper, which I have not heard anything, we refer you to because they compile the names of the candidates. So far, I don't think any commission has any issue which is beyond us.
And it's good that you're talking about the electoral roll because somewhere in the Ashanti region, some delegates were raising concerns. Have you taken notice of that as the EC?
Whenever there's any issue about the electoral roll, we refer them to their party.
So you did not
we don't address issues pertaining to the album because we didn't compile them, so we cannot speak to it. So anything that pertains to the album, we refer you to the election committee.
Any final message for the people of Ghana who are also looking forward to the EC's, delivery of a smooth process?
My philosophy is that election is about showing you an idea. We may not have to agree, but if I have any principle, mine is to use my thumbprint to decide. So use your thumbprint and allow others to also use their thumbprint. Don't impose your decision on others. And at the end of the day, the majority's decision through the ballot will determine the response to the question that I raised.
Dr. Afriyie Akoto, thank you. We're grateful that you're spending some time with us. And that's the Director of Electoral Services at the Electoral Commission, just providing some clarity on the concerns that have emerged so far as a result of the NPP's presidential primaries. This is your election headquarters and continuous coverage of the special internal elections that the NPP is holding now amongst 4 individuals, including the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who's coming up against 3 individuals as well for the slot that is vacant for the NPP now. That's the presidential seat of the governing party. Anyone who emerges as the victor for today's exercise will then be the new leader, moving the party into a keenly contested, that's what experts say, contest that will be happening in 2024. But for now, it's been a smooth exercise with Director of Electoral Services at the EC, Dr. Afriyie Akoto, pointing out, first of all, that all the issues and concerns surrounding the voter album has nothing to do with the Electoral Commission, simply because if you're coming right here to participate in the voting, just as it is happening across the country, what will happen is the party is in charge of the validation and, of course, presentation of the names of persons who are qualified to participate in the exercise. And so, from his perspective, if you have any challenge at all with the electoral roll, then it means that should be coming from the party, and that you would have to reconcile whatever differences there may be from the perspective of the party, and that they are here simply to do the coalition and the announcement of the results, which will be happening in just a few moments from now. We're past midday. The scheduled time for the Electoral Commission's end of the exercise is 2 p.m. So which means that we're just about an hour and a half away from knowing who will become the next leader of the governing New Patriotic Party. Earlier in the day, we've been speaking to a lot of leading figures from the party, including the former Chief of Staff who you've just heard from, Mr. Kojo Mpinim, who's pointing out what the party needs to do right after today's exercise. Well, he's not the only one who's been appearing here. Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia has also cast his ballot. ballot, I should say. And we know also that other leading figures of the party have done same, including the President of the Republic, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo. We've been speaking to some other presidential staffers, MPs as well, and other, leading figures of the party who've been speaking to us about the process, what the next phase of the party is, and what the party intends to do right after today's exercise. We'll bring that to you shortly, but I also need to point out that what you're seeing here today is just a precursor to the main jubilation that will be happening in a few hours from now when the main victor is announced. The party intends to do an official handing over ceremony that will be happening at the Ohinijan Sports Stadium in just about 3 or 4 hours from now. So we're here giving you a 360 view of some of the leading figures, members of the diaspora, and other members of the party who are showing up here to make their decision and also to cast their ballots for the presidential primaries of the New Patriotic Party. So we can listen to some of the people that we've been speaking to so far, including also the candidates. Adainimo just left here a couple of minutes ago. We've also been interacting with some more executives of the party as well, who are providing bits and pieces of information that will be helpful to delegates across the country. So stay with us here on the Joy News channel. But first, though, we'll listen to some of the interactions that we've been doing here at the party headquarters ever since the arrival of some of the candidates, including Adainimo himself, who was here earlier today, and other leading members of the NPP.
And we will be listening to those people that Blessed Sugar mentioned in a bit in our coverage of this exercise today. But you had the Kojumpiani, a former chief of staff, who says that there are issues in the NPP. We'll interrogate that further. You also had Dr. Sribo Kweku of the Electoral Commission. In studio with me is Peter McMahon, former chairman of the New Patriotic Party. Mr. Many, you were just explaining the Sunyani East legal issues.
Yeah, the long and short of Sunyani East is that they have a pending matter on the election of polling station executives and electoral area coordinators in Sunyani High Court. So it is an order from the court not to get anybody to represent the constituency until the matter is amicably resolved. So that's...
So what happens to their vote then, because they're entitled to vote?
No, they're not, you can't be entitled to vote when a court has given an order.
Yeah, but after that is resolved, what happens? It means that they've missed an opportunity.
Yeah, they missed an opportunity
to elect. It means that their voices would not have been heard on this matter.
But mind you, this is supposed to be an extraordinary delegates congress, and under the constitution, if a quorum, which is normally I think 1/3 or so, is formed, you can go ahead. So one constituency out of 276. It's not a big deal at all.
Well, interestingly, SAL is voting.
Yes, SAL is voting.
Even though they don't have legislative representation.
Yes, but a political organization, party management, is a process. So you don't wait for Parliament to finish the process of giving the go-ahead through the CI, the constitutional instrument, or the legislative instrument, before you start preparing. You must start, put your people in place so that ultimately, when they get the constituency, you have the manpower, the human resource to organize the party in the constituency. So it's a good thing that we have gotten the idea to look for manpower, human resource for the organization of the party in that incoming constituency.
Right. We've also had issues with names not appearing on the voters' roll. And I'm wondering how that gets resolved, because my colleague Emmanuel Bright Kweku talked about the MP and Education Minister, MP for Bosomtwe, whose name did not appear, but that was subsequently resolved through a phone call. But there are others in that particular constituency who have not been able to vote because their names are not on the register. How does it get resolved?
It has happened because of technical issues, I guess, because when the whole electioneering process started, the register, or what people normally refer to as album, was dispatched to all the regions for them to validate, together with officers from national, to validate the people with their pictures. So having gone through the validation exercise, one would think that all is well and good, but like any human endeavor, technically, I think the computers eliminated 1 or 2 people. So it's a quick phone call to the IT department for them to rectify and get the Electoral Commission headquarters involved so that they can also transmit the message to their constituency officers, the DEC, the Electoral Commission officers in the districts, for the correction to be effected.
I want us to take a listen to Dr. Afriyie Akoto, who spoke to us after he also voted today. And then we'll come back and talk about what is wrong in the NPP, because Kojo Mpienu says there is certainly something wrong with the New Patriotic Party. They have to accept what is wrong and begin to fix it. But first, take a listen and watch Dr. Afriyie Akoto.
What's the margin you're giving to yourself in terms of the percentage of your win?
You can't say that at the moment.
You can't say that. But what are you happy about the progress so far? Yes. Progress of the election? And what do you have to tell to delegates listening to us now so far as the election is concerned?
Well, we are very confident that the promises they gave us. Where is the car? That the promises they made to us to vote for us is coming to reality. That's the central theme of the reports we are getting around the country. And we are very happy about that.
Are you still committed to the undertaking that you signed?
Of course. You cannot sign something and say you are not committed. That's not even a question you should ask. You understand? That's a question that you should even ask.
So in unfortunate situation you don't win, are you going to support the eventual winner? Wait for the country.
You just saw there in your shots, if you're watching television, a Dynamo who would also be speaking very shortly, but he's also voted. You heard Dr. Owusu Afriyie Akoto. Let's listen to a Dynamo now.
Unpleasant behavior, except one constituency, Menchia South, that I got the information there was a delay in the commencement of the voting process. Instead of 7 a.m., Menchia South had delayed up to 10 a.m. And when I got that information, I brought it to the attention of the Presidential Elections Committee. But I haven't done any follow-up yet, but I hope the voting is in progress in Menchia South.
Will it be your hope that the voting time will be extended for such constituencies?
No, because the guidelines are very clear. Voting commences at 7 a.m. and closes at 2 p.m. However, if there is a queue after 2 p.m., all those in the queue are required to vote. So if they decide to start late, which I don't know what is the basis of that, because the EC, the Electoral Commission, which is managing and administering the process, has been told clearly to be there and start the process at 7 a.m. And nobody could instruct the EC not to be there to commence the process.
Is your team doing any exit poll assessment, and where does that put you?
Well, if there's an exit poll, how will I disclose that information to you? I will not. So we'll just wait for the official declaration.
But are you winning?
Of course, I'm in the race for victory. I'm not in the race to showcase myself. And that is why I've stayed on course. I've persevered up to this date, no matter the challenges, even if the playing field appears to be odd, we stayed on course.
All the surveys have put you at the bottom, indicating that you are not winning. You have no chance of this election.
Well, whoever does the survey, that is up to the person's own.
You don't believe those surveys?
Well, even in the super delegates elections, I was told that they will not be part. But here we are. So how do they explain that? So you can do a theoretical survey, but in practice, there will be a huge variance or deviation.
Okay. We have received concerns about missing names from the album. Has it been for your supporters as well? Because we understand the Ken supporters, some of them cannot find their names in the album.
Well, so far, no information regarding missing delegates' names has been communicated to me or to my secretariat. I'm here to verify that if there's any information to that extent from my secretariat, then we can convey that to the elections committee.
Earlier indicated that the playing grounds are not level. Do you still see that?
Well, I mean, what do you want me to say again? I mean, if it is clear that it is an odd playing field, it is an odd playing field. And so that is where we are.
And the situation in the system, that's the question you asked.
The situation in terms of what?
The odd playing field, is the same or something has changed?
But if there is an inherent odd playing field, it is there. It cannot be taken away. It is there. It is an inherent odd playing field.
Honorable, reports coming from Brekum indicates that your delegates or the delegates there are paid 1,000 cedis to vote for you. Has it come to your attention?
To vote for me?
Yes. Hey. That is the current report from Brekum.
Me? Then I'm sure that is untrue. It's false. I have never given any money. Silver and gold have I none. But what I have is to give peace, unity, and prosperity.
But would you play an integral role towards the 2024 election in the event you are kicked out of this election?
But that is premature.
No, but that's the question. I mean,
that is premature. We have not come to the conclusion yet. So let us come to the conclusions of the elections. Okay, we need justice, we need fairness, we need free, transparent election. Let us get to the end of the process and let us have the official declaration. Thereafter, we'll pick up the consequential issues.
Suggesting that if it is odd, you will not play an integral role in this election.
But everybody
issuing a caveat.
Everybody wants justice.
Right.
So if there's no justice, how do you ensure unity? How do you ensure peace? It's a requirement.
But you signed the bond.
But the bond also requires that there should be.
Of the contenders since today's exercise, Adai Nimode, he says he has no silver nor gold, but what he brings is peace, unity, and prosperity. He was speaking to the media after he voted a bit earlier today at the party's headquarters. This is your election headquarters. Mr. Peter McMeno is our guest in studio as we still make quick trips around the country to gauge how the exercise is ongoing. Let's go to the Ashanti region now, because names of over 40 polling station executives of the NPP in the Asokwa constituency are missing from the voter album being used for today's exercise. At least 200 persons have their names also wrongly labeled. Efforts to get the issue rectified by the party officials have not been positive so far. Nanaya Ojima is on the grounds and joins us with more. Nanaya, what's the challenge with this particular issue? Hear me?
Constituency, and voting is ongoing. Things here are very calm. Not long ago, the member of parliament for Asokwa constituency, Patricia Apiaje, was here to cast her ballot. The vehicle you see moving out of the premises is that of Madam Patricia Apiaje. She was here. She's gone through the process and cast her ballot. As you can see, there are a number of people in the queue waiting to get to their turn cast their ballots and peacefully they move out of the premises. Presently, the area is very, very calm as anticipated by many. But one thing that has come up strongly here at the Asokwa constituency is the voter register. People are contesting the register. Some of the delegates, unfortunately, are unable to find their names in the register. This issue started yesterday. What I know is that yesterday the Asokwa constituency executives were at the EC's office in the Ashanti region to try get the EC to rectify what they describe as an anomaly. Unfortunately, according to the EC, they have to go through the party itself, the election committee of the party, get it rectified there. And if that is done, they can send a signal to the EC, and the EC would ensure that these people, they believe that their names are missing from the register, get the opportunity to cast their ballots. I have with me one of the people who are affected to speak to on the issue. Madam, Memwakwa join you so.
Yeah.
And now it is a movie DFM. Cheche Musenisite.
The can be the Patricia Yankra. Mena be a Chabatole area coordinator. Na the woman in Anna said about 2 weeks ago, and a buy say independent binim. Na me one 17 ne bia kwasa e bi kwa de ne dia ama o ma yi bebre afrim nti chama ka chere say yenya ho adwuma nti efrefro mo sa di o mu data e de ma IT so onye ho adwuma eti anu aye ko meeting e na chama ka chere say IT le ntimi anya ba so mo di petition ko national say ka national mayentu. But ye buy na national yisi for ne say national for amfa letter bi amanto muntimi ma omonto etianu enti ne wa ha ke yesese enka order born e de to e na ko me yemfa nto che say enu ano mudi yi constituency executive di enti na se abana se omoto ayentimi ma omonto etimi de mesele se nko momo nyina nto because obi di adanse se enipa asemesi polling station ya owo so omoma ne to coordinator mababa bakamba so omoma ne nto
na wa mo hu di o
Nyanga said the medium coordinators need to be heading by A14 or be heading by police station for no and a nipa base 200 across Aswa and a nipa base 200 diama but maybe tabatrendi nipa 17 dinama.
And say a rest party bit can rectify so I do no so to me out.
Aha, and look at Babu party say nipa 200 and so mun me and try and I say obidi shana so just say a mu best a bear 14 or mudina makra. It's best 200 they be obidia kwakwasha obi ayi be afia msia kwakwasha no or mudu mbetimi out but bear 14 die me sure say a year free top ama omuntimi nto.
Thank you very much, Madam Patricia. So essentially what she is saying is that about 40 names are completely missing from the register. 2 weeks ago they received the album and going through it they notified the anomaly. The party told them to put the data together and send to the IT officer so that the IT officer get to work on it so that before the day of the election it is rectified. But unfortunately the final register came and these issues were not rectified. What they are expecting is that the party use the internal mechanism to work on these issues and get these 40 names to cast their ballots today. What she added is that about 200 names, even though 200 people, they find all their names in there. They are not put in the various polling stations or their names are not well located in the register. So these are all issues that have come up, but these other people will get the opportunity to vote. If you find your name in the register, but even if it's not put in where it's supposed to be, if it's found, you get to vote. But those whose names are not found at all don't get the opportunity to vote. So about 40 people are affected. Thank you very much, Madam Patricia. I have with me one of these affected people. Sir, Musudini.
Yeah, Medinim. Efrem Honorable J, me was Asokwa Municipal Assembly.
Honorable J, ansana edaibedu unya antie say udinim no ma opportunity say boso the data beba no mo sade asemana.
Yeah, me nyantie say medinim. Ama me coordinator ka kire me say de my ID card ma no omo rectify. But me ba no pay me ba betu edru me so say medinim. Kohima Jansen me cha my dinim me youth organizer dinim, me youth me women's organizer dinim. Organizer no kwa netimi take election.
Ojo one say ade we deliberate say be mu bi din afima na.
Matene say me hu say enya deliberate but ya IT officer no na say we lazy because me kwa de meka say empanifo hwe say obi free baby e we nya say bia obi betima de ne bone because me ye hu say mistake no na kre amanaba. Intimidate and so ma obi a enye IT officer na me di blame ne ma no.
Hwe asade obenya instruction so e wa abato
so because one vote count. Because I did 50+1. Now a police station nipa 4 now to a bit a change election.
Thank you very much. So what this gentleman is saying is that he's one of the affected people and he believes the IT officer in the constituency didn't do a good job when it comes to rectifying their anomalies. So what he is saying essentially is that whatever has happened here today will have a negative effect on the election itself because every vote or every ballot counts when it comes to elections like this. So far so good. The Asukwa constituency, despite the issues with the voter register, have been very, very calm, and it's expected that the calmness that we've seen here so far follows through the day. Let me also talk about the security within this area. Security have been very, very tight. Count a number of policemen stationed outside the premises and some of them also within the premises. Vantage points, I understand that there are some plainclothes security personnel, policemen also stationed or mingling themselves with the delegates here at the Asukwa constituency. So far, things are very, very calm within Asukwa constituency. Over to you, Evans.
Flagbearer Juma reporting for us a bit earlier there from the Asukwa constituencies. Very familiar issues with names missing in the album for today's exercise. In studio to help us analyze some of the issues coming up, former chairman of the NPP, Peter McMeno. Election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. And Fearsome 3, HEPA Plus, Pavi, and Plasmos. Power to the people. Of course, we also have supporting coverage, many more others, and we will be bringing that to you here on your election headquarters. So let's come to the issue of envelopes. The party, and when I talk about envelopes, I'm sure that you understand that is it somebody's responsibility to be given delegates monies? Let's clarify that issue.
Well, certainly the party has representation, or for that matter, officers in all the 276 voting constituencies. And logistics are passed through the constituency executives, through the regional executives. Certainly, the election is being conducted at the constituency headquarters or any designated place. But if you take a look at a specific constituency, the polling stations are dotted all over. So people travel distances to where the voting is actually done. And it entails transportation, and depending on how long they may come over, food as well, transportation and food. So the party will have to find that money and send it through the region and the constituency executive to disperse to the delegates as they come.
Okay, so how much is that? How much is the party giving delegates for transportation, for breakfast, for lunch, some snacks perhaps?
I don't think it will go beyond 100 Ghana cedis.
For each delegate?
Yeah.
Okay, because
But again, in some constituencies, for example, if you take a constituency like Awurin in Western North, the distances from some of the polling stations, travel time is over 2-3 hours journey. So you can imagine that such people should be given more than giving 200.
Is that
so it should not be a flat amount. Even in Accra here, if you take Domi Kwabenya has a lot of polling stations outside the Domi we know. They go away to Abokobi, etc. So for them to travel that distance and go back, it will be more than 100 cities.
Right. Is it the party's expectation that the candidates would also be given transportation, breakfast, lunch, supper, perhaps, to delegates?
That may be the candidates' own arrangement, so the party is not privy to that.
Would they be going against any guideline?
Oh, of course. They'll be going, the guidelines stipulate that there shouldn't be any treating of any kind.
Explain that, sir.
Oh, treating is the act of giving food, money, etc., to influence a voter. And it is in the representation of people's law, PNDC law 284. That is bribery and treating during elections. So people are not supposed to do that.
But we've seen that, we've heard that. In fact, people saying that one candidate has given money and someone is sitting on it and not sharing it.
Mind you, earlier on I explained to you about long distance travels and transportation. If the monies are meant for transportation, fine. But if it's to feed them, then it goes into a different category.
But your explanation had to do with the party. But now I'm referring to candidates.
I'm also referring to candidates. Candidates may decide to give delegates TNT.
And that's allowed?
Very well so.
But that's not defined to mean that they want to influence them to vote for them?
Well, according to the law, the PNDC law 284, it states categorically that if you give money for food, to influence his decision to vote, then it's treated as a bribery.
What does your guideline say?
Our guidelines?
Yes, sir.
That's what I have said. The guidelines do not allow people to give food and pocket and give money to influence voters.
But it's okay for them to give them money for transportation?
Oh, of course, because I've told you that even in Domi Kwabenya here, if you are coming from Abokobi to Domi, or even in Accra here, which constituency, and even if you take Kokomeme here, which is what's the name of the constituency, Kole Klote, people will come from, let's say, Osu area to the voting center, which is quite a distance, and if they take trotro or taxi, they have to pay for it. So if the contestants decide to foot that bill, there shouldn't be any qualms about that. But it should not be interpreted, and the law, PNDC law 284, categorically states what treating and bribery in elections are.
Is there an amount of money that the party expects that candidates would give to delegates?
Oh no, the party does not expect that.
So if I think that 1,000 Ghana cedis will be enough to cater for your transportation, it's just up to me?
It's just up to you, but the delegates know how much it costs them to ferry themselves from their polling stations to the voting center. Mind you, every constituency has one voting center. So if you live in Asemkro, which is very close to Elubo, Asemkro is very close to Elubo, but they vote in Inche, Awing, and it takes about 2-3 hours journey. Even these days, I don't know, because they complain about the road network. It might cost a lot.
Let's look at what the former Chief of Staff, Kojum Piening, said to us a bit earlier when he was speaking to Blessed Soga. He says that there is something wrong with the NPP. You have to accept what is wrong. Do you accept that there's something wrong with the party?
I wish the Chief of Staff would have mentioned specifically what is wrong with the NPP. The NPP is an institution. And I don't think in this world we live in, there's any institution that does not have any problem with it. But that's why on annual basis or quarterly basis, there are attempts to look holistically at our various institutions, especially annual general meetings, to review what has been going on over the past year and to make amends, even, or reforms. So he should not be so open without specifics. I would have wished that he would have made it the specific, then we can go into it, reform or make recommendations to patch up whatever.
So you disagree that
unless
all is not well with the NPP?
Unless he gives the specifics. What I know is that people are clamoring for unity after, but they are clamoring for unity post-elections.
So you're united right now? You are united now as a party? If you are, then why did Alan leave?
You see, we are in a competitive mood. And in any internal democracy, unless you haven't studied what pertains in internal democracy in political parties worldwide, the moment 2, 3, 4 people begin to contest, the party will divide along those lines. It's part of democracy, internal democracy. But what is important, and I think I must stress this, is when all the processes have ended and Mr. A has won the elections, we all must come together, in spite of our differences during the elections, to support that person. So we look up to the next few hours, and then going forward, how as a people, as a party, we will support overwhelmingly the person who wins the election.
So for you, that internal division has not even happened yet? It would only be after this election?
Because we are competing, there's bound to be internal divisions. Well, it's not an unopposed candidate. Do you remember in 2004 when President Kufuor went unopposed, his second term? Do you remember in 2020 when President Kufuor went unopposed during his second term? Did you see any acrimonies like people jostling the way we are doing now? No, because it was a single candidate.
How would you categorize Alan Kyerematen's exit?
It's very unfortunate, I would say. I would have wished that he stayed in. But that's his personal decision. And we will still have to engage. That's all I would say.
Kojo says, protect what you have and bring others in. Can you bring Alan in? He says that could be
there is nothing
a bit difficult, but that's something that you could attempt.
Well, it's worth attempting. There's nothing impossible in this world. And if you don't make attempts, then you wouldn't know. So
have you attempted as a party?
Oh, the national chairman came on radio to speak about attempts he had made to reach out to Alan. He came up to speak about that. So I think it should be a continuous process.
So you still insist that the divisions for you haven't really started?
Until after today. Because if you call it divisions, then there shouldn't be a contest. There shouldn't be an internal democracy. And once different people are contesting, they have different ideas, there's bound to be differences. But where? That's why I asked. When in 2004, President Kufuor was the sole candidate. When in 2020, President Akufo-Addo was the sole candidate, did you witness any internal divisions? Because they were sole candidates. But if you have 2 or more candidates, they will have support base from various angles of the party. So until the election is over and we all come together to support whoever wins, there's bound to be that differences in internal democracy, and that's global.
Peter McMahon is a former chairman of the New Patriotic Party, also a former campaign manager for the New Patriotic Party. He's on your election headquarters. Now your election headquarters is brought to you by Petrosol, your clean fuel in full quantity. Petrosol, always a delightful experience. Fearsome 3, that's HEPA Plus, PAVI, and Plasmox. Power to the people. And the new force, a new nation. We're live on radio, live on television, live on myjoyonline.com. Just to recap in terms of the numbers voting today, and this exercise is currently going on in all 275 constituencies in the Greater Accra region, and that's the largest actually in terms of the number of delegates voting. In Greater Accra, we have close to 40,000 delegates voting. In the Volta region, a little over 11,000. That's 11,995. OT has 5,210 delegates, and the party headquarters 463 delegates. The president, the vice president, some of the candidates in today's exercise also voting at the party's headquarters. A good breakdown of the growing NPP delegates population. And in 1992, we had about 1,998 delegates. That went down, actually, 1,996 in 1996, 1,993 in 1998. In 2007, we saw some 2,293 in 2010, 106,590. 2014 saw some 115,000, and here we are in 2023 with over 200,000 delegates, obviously the highest. Well, less than an hour to the close of polls, massive vote buying rocks the NPP's flagbearer race in the Ablekuma Central constituency of the Greater Accra region, as delegates confirmed to Joy News that they have received varying cash amount from some of the aspirants. The polls there have turned into a competition of who can pay more, as Joy News sources confirmed that delegates are being paid between 200 and 400 Ghana cedis per head. Carlos Kaloni reports from the ground as the names of Vice President Dr. Mahmoud Baumia and Kennedy Japan surface and the alleged vote buying business.
A constituency where the NPP's presidential flag bearership race is taking place, and there are two centers here, Center A and B. The total number of delegates expected to cast their ballot here, according to the Electoral Commission officer Joseph Boateng, they are expecting about 1,568 delegates to cast their ballot at the two centers. So there in your short, that is where the action is actually happening, where delegates have queued up and they are being released in batches of 5 to each of these centers, and then they cast their vote. As at 11:30 a.m. here, about 701 of such delegates have already cast their ballot. There is a trend that is emerging here. Now, we have realized that after the delegate cast their ballot, they move to my right side, where there is a tree, and our sources there have been telling us that there is some kind of transaction going on there, where some sources have confirmed to us actually that all the candidates are actually, some kind of vote buying exercise going on there, where we've seen a lot of these delegates emerge from that place with envelopes upon envelopes. And one delegate who actually wants to remain anonymous confirmed to us that he has received 3 envelopes from about 3 of the aspirants.
Okay, I received 7.5.
From which of the aspirants?
The aspirants, Canada Japan, he paid 3 million, and then Baumia pay 4 million, and executives then pay 50 cedis. So we complete 7.5.
Are you happy with what you received so far?
Oh, I'm not happy, but so now will be the one when it's in pocket, you just give us. So understand?
Which of the constituencies do you belong? Are you a delegate yourself?
Yes, I'm a delegate. I'm waiting for Ken.
Which of the constituencies do you belong to in Ablekuma here?
Me, I did for Abosokan electoral area.
Okay. You are a card-bearing NPP member?
Yeah, I'll be NPP member, serious.
So have you voted?
Yeah, I voted.
You voted for who?
Ken.
You voted for Ken?
Yeah.
So he appeared to have given you the highest amount?
No, even amount where he give me, I'm happy because Ken used to give us something very well. Because I'm happy. As you count the weight, I see say the ground self, he win the grounds. You understand? Because the party executives and regional executives, all things went and do it. You know, even favor the grounds. You understand? And this is the time and Kennedy can help the police station executives. That's why I vote for Ken.
Okay, so you have voted for him and you are confirming that you've received some amount from Bawumia as well as Ken, and the third person, who?
The
party?
The third person is executives when they bring the 50 cedis.
All right, thank you. So that Eric also confirming to us that he has also benefited from some of this money.
My name is Afriyie Akoto Francis from Ablekuma Central.
So how much have you been able to also receive from the aspirants so far?
Oh, I received 300 cedis from Kennedy Japan's camp and 400 cedis from Honorable Bawumia, Dr. Bawumia camp, and the national 50 cedis. Yeah.
Are you okay with the amount?
Oh, I'm not okay, but I'll take it so.
So where did you vote?
Oh, I vote for Ken. I'm a Ken fan, so I vote for Ken, Kennedy Japan.
How come you seem to have received a higher amount from Bawumia, but then you went for Ken?
Oh, already I'm a Kennedy Japan fan. So if Bawumia give me 1,000 Ghana cedis, 2,000 Ghana cedis, I will correct it, but I will vote for Kennedy Japan because I'm a Kennedy Japan fan.
Yes, this camp is calling someone. He's also an aspirant for PC in Ablekuma Central constituency. He gave us, he added some money to our money that we got from the presidential. Yes, and that one we had 750 cedis from national. That's making 750. Yes.
And he's adding how much?
20 cedis,
okay,
making 770.
So the 700 is from who?
The 700 is from Bawumia and Kennedy. Kennedy Japan gave us 300 and Bawumia gave us 400 cedis. Yes, and 50 cedis from national TNT. Yes.
And what is this money supposed to do?
It's not easy, but we are delegates, so we deserve it. For me, that's what we deserve it. We even deserve more than that because I heard constituencies are having more than 1,000 plus, but we had 700, and that's okay.
So that is to say that Ablekuma Central here, the aspirant, mainly the Bawumia and as well as Kennedy, they are giving you money.
Yes,
to
please.
vote for them, to influence.
Yes, to vote for them. But the other aspirants, we've not had anything from them.
Why?
I don't know.
So where did your vote go to?
My votes went to Bawumia. Yes.
Is it because he paid you bigger?
No. I just love the man.
So indeed, from our sources, we can confirm that some sort of vote buying is actually going on here at the Ablekuma Central constituency, where we've seen, agents of some of the aspirants moving with envelopes and sharing to delegates here at Ablekuma Central constituency. On the floor, you see a lot of envelopes on the floor, as well as many of the delegates discussing the kind of amount they have received from the aspirant here. So that's the situation from Ablekuma Central constituency here in Accra. My name is Carlos Kaloni for Joy News.
Well, from the Ablekuma Central constituency, let's take you to Abuako North because there was confusion in that constituency over the omission of some 9 names in the voter album. But for the timely intervention of the regional patrol team, the situation would have gotten out of hand. Member of Parliament for the Bantama constituency and Minister in charge of Housing, Francis Asenso-Boakye, has been touting the achievement of Vice President Dr. Mahamudu Bawumia, describing him as the best candidate to defend the record of the NPP. Well, Maxwell Kudako is joining us on that Abuako North issue. Maxwell, what more can you share with us? Maxwell, you have to unmute. We cannot hear you.
Am I audible?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Very well. So 9 members of the New Patriotic Party in the Buapa North constituency this morning staged a protest that nearly marred the process. But for the timely intervention of the police patrol team at the police station at the Tafo Creek, the story would have been different. Their problem is that during the polling station election, they contested and won various positions at one of the electoral area, Abdel Salem, in the Buapa North constituency. But the album that was presented today for the election excluded them. They claim that some 9 people have been included in the voter list who are not supposed to be in the list. So they insisted they weren't going to allow them to vote or participate in the process. The process had to hold for some time till the police came in to ensure that there is peace. Apparently, managers of the election process maintain that it is for only those whose name are captured in the voter list who are permitted to vote. So these 9 people were asked to leave the scene and then come as restored to the place. So the process is ongoing. I had a conversation with the second vice chairman of the New Patriotic Party in the Eastern region, Mr. Frank Apia, who says that this is one out of many incidents and it is expected. He says that it is not deliberate that somebody would take another person's name from the register. I've been to other constituencies, including the New Jabin North constituency. Presently, I'm at the New Jabin South constituency, where the process is happening at the Kofodia Senior High Technical School here. At the New Jabin South constituency, we have a delegate list of 1,023, comprising of constituency officers and then also regional executive officers. They have 2 polling centers here, and then as of now, majority of the people here have gone through the process. If you see my background, the place is calm. Initially, we had a lot of people in the queue, but there has been relatively peace here. A couple of high-profile personalities have been here. The Eastern Regional Minister, Mr. Seth Pam Boateng, has been here not too long ago. He came to us as his franchise. I've seen Mr. Gabi Asaro that we also came here to monitor the process, and a couple of party officials who are also parties to the election. The member of parliament for the New Jabin South constituency, who happens to be the deputy minister for trade, Honorable Michael Ochebefi, has also been here. You see him as a very tired man. Although let's see if we can have a bite with him briefly. Minister, welcome and good afternoon. This is Joy News. You have been here for some time, seen you working since dawn, last dawn up to. How would you say the process has been so far?
I mean, it has been so smooth. You can testify to that. We started this early in the morning, and the process has been very, 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 very smooth, and we have not encountered any problem as of now. So far, about 970 delegates have voted, and we are sure that at the end of the voting process, we are going to have a very successful election.
You appear to be one of the leading campaigners of the vice president. It appears that the Kent team is giving you a tough time here. Is that the case?
I don't believe so at all. You know, we have done a yeoman's job. I'm talking about the campaign team. We have done our best, and the kind of engagement we have had with the delegates, we are so confident that they are going to support us. They're going to vote for us. And so, at the end of the ballot or the elections, we are sure when the votes are counted, we're going to get majority of the votes.
So you are looking at how many percent?
I mean, minimum 70%. We are so sure about that because, I mean, the people that came to vote are people that are very discerning, and they have been with the party for a very long time. They know what is going on in the party. They know the contributions of the vice president. They know that the vice president has written his name in gold in the annals of NPP politics, and therefore they have rewarded him. And that's how come we believe that when the ballot is counted, we are going to win the elections and win very well.
Well, so Mamabi, you heard from the member of parliament for the New Jabin South constituency, so the deputy minister for trade here in the New Jabin South constituency. So just as I indicated, the process has been very peaceful. I don't see anybody in the queue now. I'm told that the Eastern Regional Chairman of the NPP, Mr. Jeff Konedu, is also expected to be here. He's the only person among the regional executive who has not been here. We were told that he went to the front place for special duties, and then when if he's able to get here before 2 p.m., he will be allowed to go. Other than that, if he comes out after 2 p.m., he may forfeit his right to exercise his franchise in this exercise. So in the Eastern region, it has been very peacefully. We are told that about 21,233 delegates totally are expected to participate in this exercise, and the expectation is that about more than 95% turnout is supposed to achieve in this exercise. So this really is very peaceful, if you ask.
Maxwell, have you also witnessed the issue of money going round, envelopes being shared?
Well, since last night we have calls and several allegations of team members meeting party delegates, and then also having conversation with them and then parting away with money. As of last night, we heard that the Mr. Kennedy Japan's team were meeting delegates and giving them 300 Ghana cedis per head, and then also the other team from the vice president were also told that they were giving delegates 400 Ghana cedis across board. It appears that the expectation of most of the delegates were high, that this is their time to cash in. And then a couple of the delegates who we had the opportunity to talk to behind the scene expressed disappointment that they were expecting to receive higher TNT and then chop money. But it appears that this is what was brought on the table. So the allegation of money changing hands has been across allegation. It depends on the constituency. In some constituencies, for instance, I'm told that beyond the TNT that was brought by the vice president, that's the 400 Ghana cedis, some city members of parliament and constituency chairman also topped out. So, for example, we were told that the New Gabi North constituency, even though the vice president gave some of the delegates 400 Ghana cedis as their TNT and chop money across board, the former chairman of the constituency, I'm told, Mr. Kujo Ajiman, I'm told that some of the delegates confided in me that he also topped out with an amount of 200 cedis to all the delegates. And also the member of parliament, Mr. Nana Ejay Boatin, also did a top up of 100 Ghana cedis in the name of the vice president. So as for the issues of who is giving money and all that, I mean, it has come across from last night. But what we can say and report on is that we are confidently informed that the Mr. Kennedy Japan gave all the delegates per head 300 cedis for their TNT and their chop money, and then also the vice president gave 400 Ghana cedis, as you have heard.
That's my colleague Maxwell Akoto reporting there live from the Abuakwa North constituency. And it appears the figure 300 Ghana cedis is very popular in today's exercise, because a delegate in the Adenta constituency also alleges that 300 Ghana cedis was given to him from Kennedy Japan's camp, and that was to be shared to each delegate. But someone has squandered that figure. He also says, the delegate also says that Dr. Baumia paid 400 cedis per delegate, and that money has actually been received, but that of Kennedy Japan has not. Let's take a listen.
Oh yeah, delegate to be a hunter. Yeah, we were new Adenta. Honorable Ken Sikano. Nipa miensa akuche sikani nyina. Nipa 17 wa album no. Nipa miensa one police station chairman, friend Kofi Eboa. Ono I provided emu 6,000 aba. Ye ko yire on popo ntopa no. For the 6,000 aba, ba ko the poor, omu mienu na the same police station. Ono so the 7,000 asu bi amane di aba. And one your former deputy coordinator, ono so na yire ebi akodi no ho, ono so di aba. Aka Rollins, yes ba ko the Rollins. Ono die up to Lakeside, ono so di scanner dwane. Ye hu until nipa 70 no, nipa 3 no, o ma scanning nyina. Aya nyam 1 cedi up till now, aya go 2 o'clock no. Na bu kan sika ne sankan. Na ese delegate bia nya se. Ese delegate bia nya 300 Ghana cedis. And nipa 4 Kofi Yeboa. Rollins, Paul, and Lady Bakuka, almost 4 no, almost for scanning. I ain't one little. Other candidates for the other candidates so far in Saka. So far, Bomia 400 Ghana. If we are to do so far, Bomia than 100 Ghana. You new Adenta electoral area. ana omo kire mu say your coordinator no onye honorable Ken also support Bawumia enu nti sika no o man fa anhye ne nsem from the city party so e na ono so ne cruise omo ye for omo chi sika no nyina nti say mbo to banana mo to ka ka na boy be kwa akoto atia honorable Ken because say omo yiyim sa de hu no say nipa for no kwa ne be to banana nti omo yi because the see na ye ko wura mu yiye no omo provide bi ba ko de 8,000 kan ho no de adwane ayi hu na trap ato di ni me de yabo Charles me police station chairman oh Bible we ana mo pese yamo discuss oh nya see pese o my stand e TNT because me be am free by na nya ka e na me ye adwuma nso e na ma ja ma adwuma ho na na me ma ba yi betina ha me baba and then Saturday me ye adwuma kasa e na ma ja ho aba ha nti e so tuma me TNT ni ye nya Bible ni ye
It is here, Soba Adenta, New Adenta polling station executive for concerns. Let's say New Adenta electoral area. New Adenta electoral area for delegates of concerns. Let's say Omusika, Omunya, we cry. 300 cities, I say if you can over Monsaka, about 400 Monsaka, but also we have a boot, we have a boot, we have a film crew, so I'm one city. About your my iska. One of my coaches Canadian. We have a food, yes, here. I don't know how to say Miska. We have a Miska, but we got Miska. What do you mean? What coaches can I do on a plan or count with the material?
So things are obviously getting a bit heated up in Adenta. Fortunately for us, Kweku Asante, our man on the ground, joins us. Kweku, very interesting revelations there. So this man, Charles Yeboah, who is a polling station executive, is making some allegations. Please explain what he's been telling you.
Well, yes, Kofi Yeboah says 300 cities for each of the delegates that were voting in Adenta has not gotten to them, and that a few coordinators for Kennedy Japan have sat on that money, quote unquote, and that 300 cities that was supposed to be shared to each and every one of them has not reached them, and they are threatening that they are either not going to vote, or if they vote, they are going to vote against Kennedy Japan. What is an open secret here, and what everybody is talking about, is that the money has come in. Their delegates are expecting that 300 Ghana cedis each will be given to them from Kennedy Japan's campaign, and then 400 cedis from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia. They confirmed that the 400 cedis that is expected to come from the Vice President's office has reached all of them. They've taken that money, 400 Ghana cedis each. Well, of course, some of them say that is not enough, but at least they've gotten that. But the 300 Ghana cedis that is supposed to be from Honorable Kennedy Japan, there are few coordinators who they claim have squandered this money. The money has not reached them, and they are threatening that they are going to vote. In just about 8 minutes, proposed to close here. And if you are not in the queue by 2 o'clock, then you cannot join and then vote. And so that is that. But at the tail end of that, we had one of the coordinators come around to come and say that that is not true and that the money has been shared. And that is when he threatened to invoke cases on this electoral coordinator because the money has not gotten to him. He said it's a baba. If he stayed at his shop, he would have made more than that. And so if Kennedy Japan has sent 300 cities to each and every one of them, they expect that it will come to them, and that a few persons doing that harms the campaign of Kennedy Japan. And this is one of the areas they believe Kennedy Japan would have made a lot of impact. But if these electoral coordinators are sitting on this amount of money, then that means that they are not going to vote for him. But 400 Ghana cedis each from the office of the Vice President has gotten to all of them. And so if you come here, the money sharing is ongoing, but a few times you will not be allowed to film it because of how terrible the situation is. But you can see all of our electoral coordinators who have been in charge of sharing this amount of money, sharing amount of money to delegates. You just have to show up, identify yourself as a constituency chairman where you are a delegate from, and then your 400 Ghana cedis from the office of the Vice President will be given to you. Some of the electoral coordinators have gotten their 300 Ghana cedis from Kennedy Japan. Dynamo and Honorable Dr. Afriyie Akoto haven't sent their money. They say they've not gotten any amount of money from those people. In the last few minutes, we've been getting response from the coordinators of Honorable Kennedy Japan. They admit that they are paying every delegate 300 Ghana cedis. What they say that they do not, disagree that the money is expected to get to the delegates, but there are a few challenges, and they are trying to get the money to the delegates so they should calm down, and that the allegations that they are sitting on the money to sabotage the campaign of Kennedy Japan is not true. So what is widespread here? In fact, early on when I went to Medina, where I've also been covering, the situation was that some delegates threatened that they were not going to vote until the 400 Ghana cedis from the vice president office comes to them, and that 300 Ghana cedis from Kennedy Japan comes to them. So for almost an hour, there was a standstill at the polling station until some announcement came in through the PA system that all delegates should go behind the polling station where the coordinators were. They just came back beaming with smiles because they are taking 700 Ghana cedis, each 400 from Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia's campaign, 300 from Kennedy Japan's campaign, 700 Ghana cedis, and they started forming their queue, ready to go and vote. Probably that is the situation here.
Kweko, how many delegates are we talking about here?
At Adenta, there are about 1,520 delegates. 1,520 delegates, and all of them are expected that they're going to receive 400 Ghana cedis from the office of the Vice President, Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, and 300 Ghana cedis from Kennedy Japan. There is no discrimination in sharing the money. It is not about whether you support them or not. There's an amount of money. They say it's TNT, not necessarily bribe to influence their votes. But of course, some of them say they are not going to vote if that has not come. So it begs the question, if this is not supposed to influence the votes, where is the threat coming from that you're not going to vote if that money does not come to you?
Kweko, we'll leave it here and just return to you shortly after the polls close. But I want us to take a quick listen to the reaction from that coordinator who the Charles Yeboah we heard from earlier making the allegation. Apparently, this has been denied. Let's take a listen.
The money friend said, yes, I'm a doing and I'm away any of the backgrounds. And I had the reps because conference executives. I'm only now supporting about deputy organizer and supporting. And I will back coordinators this one. Yes, any coordinator. Yes, any coordinators are almost supporting it. And see, our reps, I was 16 electoral areas in Nina. And see, I'm not busy can bar and I'll pay the core rounds. Yeah, the reps and this can be just because say ye ni empany form tie to constituency rep ni be chesika na kwa na panyi no dan so chain so me say me office but complaints na ban I have to leave the office and come enti ye ba ya no let's try you no mo ye complain the coordinator you go shia no so no na ka tell for so munya abotre o mo to o mo bo be chesika na wa cha mo bia that is what I came to
enti so bi ka say so bi atena kan so na bia mo na chi bia
enya no kre sika no bia sa be Canada
as a coordinator, what happened is that little area that is the new Adenta East. New Adenta West. Sorry. Per my investigation over there, the people who harassed that guy, what's the name? Yeboah. Kofi. Of course, he was the one that they gave them to. Police system. And I'm being said before we Brazil. What is happening? I bring the coordinator some what can be said I don't want to say no. I want to find scanning it. Emma. I'm real putting some master scan. I know what I'm saying. But they are moving, then I'm so coaching. And to me, pushing from Kodimran, in fact, for this can buy. And I'm from Kodimita, and I'm this can, I say, Kodimita, yes, sir. But unfortunately, they say, no, so you can't be a movie that. But they can't eat them, Eban, and I'm so, can you notwithstanding that, what I heard was that the constituency organizer, his name is Daniel Hota. They planted that issue so that they put pressure, more pressure.
All right, so the earlier allegation was that one of the coordinators for Kennedy Japan at the Adenta constituency had been given money to be shared to delegates as transportation, and that person had refused to distribute those monies. But as we heard that, the response from that allegation that the monies only arrived this morning and that it has been shared. Was this the intention of the NPP when they said that candidates could also give transportation to delegates? We will get into that matter shortly, but let's quickly go to the OT region where Herbert Krapper, that's the Deputy Minister for Energy, has been speaking to us on his expectations and on today's process, also dismissing some allegations made by some NDC members.
I'm looking for victory here in the Akan constituency for His Excellency Dr. Mahmoud Bawumia, who, as you know, is a strong contender for today's ballot, and his coordinator here in the Akan constituency to ensure that everything goes according to plan, to make sure that the work that we have done over time here in Loti constituency and across the country, that the goodwill that he's enjoying, that the message of hope that he has shared will reflect in the ballot today. And when the votes are declared, that His Excellency Dr. Bawumia will come out victorious, and we're expectant. Everything has gone very smoothly. The people have bought into our message. They've told us unequivocally that they believe that he's the man who represents that hope to wrestle power for us in 2024. It's not an easy election. The reason we can't ballot with it, the reason we can't gamble, it's an election in which we will be hoping to break the 8. And if you can't do that, if we can do that as a party, the new Patriotic Party would have to